I gotta plug this in for when John shows up, and then I'm gonna open the thing so I can see the chat and watch on the watch page and see if I'm there. I'm there. I'm there with 141 people. Ben wants to know, is it PodCon yet? It's not, but I tell you what, my Google tabs, my Chrome tabs are. That one's Deering and John. That one is PodCon. That one is not. That one is PodCon. That one is PodCon. This one is PodCon. This is PodCon. This is Project for Awesome, so I can close that. PodCon, 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 PodCon. And this one is PodCon. This one is PodCon. This one's PodCon. This one is not. I got a lot of tabs open, you guys. This one is I just scrolled down all the way on the likes on the Vlogbrothers channel because I wanted to see what the very first video we liked was. And I don't know if I can screen share on this. Maybe I can. Is this the button? Is this the button? This is a button. Let's put this. Hey, John, how you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I want to show you something.
Great. Show it to me.
It didn't work.
It's really good so far.
It didn't work, John.
Does it stay a white screen or does something else happen?
I just made a white screen, John. That's all I did. I broke it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not very good. I'm going to be honest with you.
I had a great plan, but it didn't work out. Where are you?
I'm in the podcasting studio. I can't be in my office right now because Henry is in there because the kid's nanny is sick with the very same viral illness that both the kids and I have had.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 11 days have been unremitting hell. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm sorry. I've managed to not get sick. Catherine is sick right now. I don't know what with.
Yeah. And
I am feeling fine. I shoveled the sidewalk because we had like 3 inches of snow last night, and feel like I could do it all day. Maybe I should go do the neighbors.
I ran 4 miles yesterday and felt like I was going to die the whole time. I have not fully recovered. I mean, this illness is like, I haven't been sick like this in years. And then both last night, Alice started barfing at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh God.
Now she has 103-degree fever, and Henry just got better yesterday.
That sounds miserable.
So yeah, and it's just been a really rough start to the year for the green Indianapolis Greens. Really, really tired, and yeah, in good spirits, but really tired.
Yeah. I guess we've had a couple of those like midnight pukies, and it was one of the things I was most afraid of. And it's bad. I don't like it.
Yes, it is really bad. I'll tell you what's worse is when you have 2 children.
Yep.
And so I would like Dr. Aaron Carroll to make an episode of Healthcare Triage on why does norovirus only strike at night? Like, why does no one ever like wake up at 9:30 in the morning, well rested, barf all day, and then it's over?
Yep.
Like, why is it always all night long? But yeah, I mean, it like because we have 2 kids, I was sick, really sick, like for the first time in middle age, I was like, oh, I'm going to recover from viruses more slowly because I'm old now. And then 3 or 4 days later, Henry started barfing at like 11:45 at night. And then last night it was Alice, and I am so tired, just like spiritually tired. And I know Sarah's going to get this.
Yeah.
All of our best friends, the Waters, all 4 of them have had it.
Oh God.
So it's just been brutal. In fact, when I called Henry's doctor, because Henry was so sick, the doctor said that in 20 years of practice, he'd only seen one like viral gastroenteritis kind of like plague spread so quickly and so thoroughly through the city of Indianapolis.
Well, keep it there. Don't let anybody get on a plane.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
Not
I
that,
want
I
to talk
guess.
nothing. How long does it usually last? Well, I vomited for 12 hours straight, and then I had a fever for like 3 days and a really bad headache. So I stopped puking. I mean, I lost like 8 pounds. So there's that.
Maybe should I just pretend like I have norovirus so that I can get some work done?
No, I mean, it is in my norovirus is the opposite of work.
No,
Like,
no, 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 no. I just tell everybody that it happened, and then
oh,
I cannot go to all my meetings.
yeah. I mean, I do feel bad for you going to meetings. Meetings are the worst. Meetings are
Just
almost as bad as norovirus.
I have a lot of stuff to do, and I don't know how to get it all done. But thank you for being here for the podcast, John. Explain to me what it means to win your third round game in the FA Cup.
Oh, it's a big deal, Hank. It means that Wimbledon are about like 2 hours and 10 minutes away from finding out who they're going to face in the fourth round of the FA Cup, which means that the last like 15 minutes of our podcast recording, you might notice that I'm not fully present.
Well, is that going to happen while we're recording?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's going to happen right at the tail end. So maybe we'll just live blog it. But yeah, so the third round of the FA Cup is when all the big teams come in, the teams from the Premier League and the Championship. The first two rounds of the FA Cup are kind of fought among the teams from the third tier and below. And then the third round is the first round when all the big teams get in. AFC Wimbledon, since reforming in 2001, has never made it to the fourth round of the FA Cup. And so...
I mean, it seems weird because you've been playing so bad.
Well, I know, but the thing is, in the first round, we happened to draw a team in the seventh tier who we barely beat. In the second round, we happened to draw another team from like the fifth tier who we barely beat, and then and then suddenly we've gotten much better in the last month. So possibly due to the influence of the new manager, and so. We played a team that's technically a little bit better than us, although not that much better. They're also in the third tier, and we happened to beat them. Now there's kind of like two schools of Wimbledon fans. There's the people who are like, great, we made it to the fourth round of the FA Cup. It's time to draw, like, let's hope that we draw Arsenal or Manchester United or Liverpool so we can get on TV. And if it happens to be an away game, that would be even better because then we get to split the gate receipts for a stadium that holds 60,000 people or whatever. So that's one school of thought is like, let's get our payday, which I tend to adhere to that because like I know how difficult the financial straits are for Wimbledon right now. The other school of thought is let's hope we get one of the small teams that like us manage to make it to the fourth round, because then we might make it to the fifth round. And at that point, like, in the fifth round, there's only 16 teams left, and like, whatever, anything could happen, you know? Like, I mean, why? Like a few years ago, a team in the third tier made it to the FA Cup finals. So so I get that too, but like, I don't think that this Wimbledon is going to win the FA Cup. So I'd rather.
Well, it's not. Is it about winning? What happens if you win the FA Cup? What good happens?
Well, Hank, so football isn't about anything, right? Like, nothing happens if anything happens. Like the human species will go on, will still like reach the same date of extinction, etc. Like nothing will change.
But is there like a big prize? Is that they get like
a trophy?
Oh, but is there like is there a pile of money?
I mean, if AFC Wimbledon made it won the FA Cup, our money problems would not exist, because we would have gotten like, instead of like one payday, we would have gotten like 7 or 6.
How many rounds are there in this cup?
There are currently, I think there's 32 teams in round 4. So how many rounds?
Okay.
8 or 9? Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're a long ways off.
Yeah,
But I mean, so really,
it would be maybe the greatest upset in English sports in 100 years. So there's that.
So you want to pull Liverpool right now so you can get a good ticket sale.
Personally, I'd like to pull someone that isn't Liverpool so that I don't have to deal with the complexity of that. But yeah,
John,
I
you're
mean,
not going to. AFC Wimbledon is not going to beat Liverpool.
I know, but it's still a little bit like, I mean, AFC Wimbledon happened to draw Liverpool in the third round a few years ago, and I went to the game and it was a great day, but I felt very torn. Like, it was very weird to watch my favorite player of all time, Steven Gerrard, score 2 goals to beat Wimbledon, you know?
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So I would rather it be Arsenal or Manchester City. Yeah, Manchester United, something like that. Big team.
But there's 32 teams, so probably you'll just get some.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that we get a game we can't win that we play at home.
Yeah.
So in front of 4,000 people against, against a team that's like the bottom team in the Premier League or the top of the championship or something. So it's like we can't win, but also nobody wants to watch that on TV. That's the worst. Like, what would be bad would be like Watford.
That means nothing to me.
Well,
but
like,
I guess that's not a shock.
Watford are like 10th place in the Premier League, but the fact that you've never heard of them is indicative of like their overall like worldwide brand recognition is not great.
Yeah. So you don't want to play Watford at home and lose.
Yeah, which we would, because I mean, Watford are a really good team. Like they've got individual players who get paid more than our entire team. Like 8 individual players probably who get paid more than our entire team.
That doesn't seem fair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, football is like life. It's profoundly unfair.
Okay.
And everybody talks about how you can't guarantee equality of outcome, and nobody ever pays attention to the fact that we are nowhere near equality of opportunity. But whatever.
In football, as in other things. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Hank, please, and I know that I can't talk because while I was sick, I watched like 4 hours of heavyweight boxing videos.
Oh.
And I'm sure that messed up your algorithm. But please stop hate watching certain video channels that we won't name. It is so bad for my recommendation engine.
It's bad for mine too.
You are such a hate watcher.
I thumbs them down and I say, don't show me this again. And YouTube's like, yeah, but we think you'll probably watch it if we show it.
Because you will. And all YouTube really cares about is what you will deign to watch.
Don't show this to me again. And they're like, but I think you'll watch it.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to spend 15 minutes on our site. So we're going to say that this is what you like because this is what you spend 15 minutes watching.
Oh boy, I wonder if my YouTube history looks as bad as you're indicating it does. I don't even know, John.
Well, I went to our watch history because I was like, why on earth am I being encouraged to watch these reprehensible videos? And I was like, it's because half of the videos Hank watches are these reprehensible videos.
No, that is not true. That is definitely not true. I'm looking down the list. There's some boxing. Okay, there's one. And this was shown. I clicked on that video because it was shown to me in my Google News feed, and it has only 20,000 views. And I'm like, YouTube, like Google, why are you showing this to me? So I said, show me less of that.
The other thing I've been thinking about is I've been thinking, like, is there a possibility that, like, because there seems to be kind of 2 Hanks. Judging from your YouTube watches,
there's Hank who hate watches. And there's Hank who watches like cool machine videos.
I'll just tell you how I imagine it. Okay. I imagine it. There's like regular Hank who watches his own videos. L Mills, watches like there's like regular Hank.
Yeah, watching Countdown.
Yeah. Like watching like David Mitchell telling jokes.
Yep.
And then I would even put the Hank who hate watches in the category of that Hank. Like all those are Hanks I'm well familiar with. Then there's the Hank who watches like abstract painting made easy and watches like food industry machines that are at another level and watches most satisfying factory machines and ingenious tools. And I think of that as stoned Hank. Now I know that it's probably not, but like I'm just gonna be on. That's what I think about you as. Is like oh, because they're all clumped together. It's like
Yeah.
road rage in America, and
It's true. It's
and
super
like
true. I do watch them in spurts where it's just
yeah,
like, just show me a bunch of really good David Beckham kicks and also the 2014 World Indoor Championships of the tug of war.
and massive pool construction time lapse. Like I can't believe that anybody watches a 9-minute pool construction time lapse who's like not a little stoned. That's just my own. That's my own reading of your of your watch history.
Nope, it's not it. I'm not stoned. I'm often very tired when I watch those videos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, now that I can't access any of the websites that I use to, distract me from the creeping sense of dread all around me, I find
Yep.
that I am watching more YouTube.
Yeah, and probably really doesn't help if I am trying to get up to date on the latest controversies in the world of the culture war.
I don't. I honestly like. I see those videos in our watch history, and I have no. It just doesn't. It doesn't trigger me. Like it doesn't. It doesn't fill me with a desire to watch it. It fills me like I feel like. You know what? To be honest, you know what I feel like sometimes. Sometimes I feel like, man, these are important arguments, and I am so grateful to the people who are like out there on the right side of them dealing with it. And then other times I feel like, wow, I can't believe all of these people are talking about fighting over how many angels can fit on the head of a pin, like which is the famous example from the so-called Middle Ages or medieval time of like
Yeah.
when like when human logic and reason was applied to in the worst ways to questions that in the end like proved to just be the wrong lens through which to look at the world. And and I feel like that's why I didn't become a minister 20 years ago, because I was like going to church and everything and like pretty involved, and I was like, oh God, it seems like if I become a minister, I'm going to have a lot of how many angels can you fit on the head of a pin arguments, and I just can't stand those. And so that's why I think it doesn't interest me that much.
Yeah, I hear that, and I don't know, like part of me is I think catastrophizing and worrying a lot that like there is some underground current of change that is going to lead to bad outcomes, and
Yeah.
that I'm like sitting here, in my filter bubble, not having any idea that it's happening. And a
Yeah.
lot of people watch these videos, and it's a lot of young men. It's a lot of
Yeah.
like young white guys who like I feel like I could understand being from similar circumstances. And like a lot of it is me watching, being like, I want to understand what's happening to these people. Why do they find this compelling? And what, like what is it that is driving them away from like the normal conversation that is being had, and
Yeah.
into this like fringe thing that is like just, but it's a bunch of narcissists who want people to look at them, and so they say outlandish things, and it works.
Yeah, I guess for me, we've had this conversation a lot in private, so now we're having it in semi-public, and then maybe eventually we'll have it in public, but I hope not. For me, I agree with you, and I am concerned about it. There is an element of, to me, there's an element of it was always thus, like young white men have always been effectively radicalized. They were effectively, like they've always been told that people are even more generally, like people who benefit from the power structure have always been told that actually, no, you're being discriminated against, and people are trying to, people are trying to keep you down. And they've always liked hearing that. And like I look at it in the context of, I mean, having grown up in Alabama, only 35 years removed from legal segregation, and I look at it in that context, and it doesn't seem like that new to me. It's worrisome, it's upsetting, but what I still don't know, Hank, is whether the act of looking at it only gives it more oxygen. That's
Right.
what I guess where I'm not settled is I'm not settled on how to combat it effectively. Like
Right.
I look at how it hasn't been defeated, but I look at the extent to which it's been defeated in other places, in other communities, in other times, and I don't feel like I don't know. And I think I don't think that there's like a clear, easy way forward to combat that stuff, and that's part of that, and that concerns me a lot.
And I don't have time to watch it is the other thing. I also don't have any time to do, like, if I gained insight that would be useful, I have no time to apply that insight to anything. It's not like I can be like, oh, well, now I've figured out what to do, and no, I have more important and better things to do. So it is, I think, just a manifestation of anxiety for me. It's like I'm worried, and so like I want to like look at the thing that I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Just look at the thing you're worried about.
Yeah.
I should watch it on incognito mode so they don't get my YouTube premium revenue.
Oh my God, that's so true. I can't believe you let them get your YouTube premium revenue, which is like legitimate money.
Yeah.
It's like 3 or 4 cents per view, probably. That's reprehensible. Dr. Benji FM should own all of that money.
Yeah, it gets split too. So like my money gets split among the people who I watch.
Yeah.
So I should turn it on and just like should just turn on Lindsay Ellis and let it go.
Or, yeah, Lindsay Ellis and Elle Mills just have it back and forth, yeah. But then they would probably get in trouble for view cheating or something.
Yeah.
I just want to answer a couple questions from comments in the few minutes we have left. Sorry that Hank went on a tangent. Some people have asked, I am sorry, for those of you who are in Life's Library, and I will post to this tonight, you probably have guessed from the beginning of the show why I've not been as present there as I wanted to be in the first discussion book. It's because I've been consumed.
John just disappeared. He's been very sick. That's what he was trying to say. And now it's just me. He was talking. Someone asks about the Marble Olympics. I can talk about that. I did talk to the folks in charge of the Marble Olympics because they lost their YouTube channel. That happened because of a mistake made on their end, and YouTube is very stickly about reinstating channels that have been seemingly intentionally deleted. But the channel is back. There's a different one. It started from scratch, which means all the subscribers are very active, so that's good. But they were having a hard time getting the channel monetized because it was a new channel, and YouTube is and John appears to be back now.
I'm back.
I think.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was just talking about the Marble Olympics, John, and I did get in touch with YouTube, and I was like, you guys need to remonetize this channel because it's been around for a long time, and they did. So I'm excited that the Marble Olympics is coming, and I got a marble group named after me.
Did you really?
Yeah, me and another person who also helped with the situation. We are the Green Ducks.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I love that. That's like the greatest honor of your life.
I know. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple other questions that I wanted to answer.
You were saying you were sick.
Yes, so that's why I haven't been involved in Life's Library as much as I want to be. I'm sorry, but it seems like conversations are going well there. And anyway, it's going to have to survive without me. So I guess it's just surviving without me from the beginning. So thank you to Aaron and all the mods, everybody who's running that, making that work. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
What else has gone on with you, Hank?
Boy, I don't know. I was just going to check out, see what the state of the Marble Olympus was. It has not begun yet.
Oh, okay. I am working. I have Crash Course Navigating Digital Information coming out tomorrow on some of the topics we were just talking about.
Oh,
I'm excited for that. It's a crash course in a 10-episode series on how to, fact check yourself when you're browsing.
mm-hmm. I have I'm recording a podcast tomorrow, John. I'm recording SciShow Tangents. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence. And for the 200 people that are here, you get to know now how long it is between when we record tangents and when we release them, which is a huge amount of time right now because we recorded for a long time before the podcast launched.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Naya asks, John, you said your social media hiatus was partially inspired by CGP Grey. Do you two ever talk about it? Well, when I was at ThinkerCon, I think I can say that Gray was there. If I can't, don't tell anyone. When I was at ThinkerCon, yeah, Gray helped me figure out how to how to make my phone not work, so that I can still look at cute pictures of my children, but I can't, and I can watch AFC Wimbledon games, but I can't do the things that I don't want to do. And we talked a lot about it. Yeah, and we've talked about it quite a lot over the years, long before. Really, really years and years before we both ended up doing this. And I think it's born from a similar place. I think that Gray and I are similar in the way that we do things and how we need to restrict ourselves to have the lives that we want, I guess. How I need to set rules for myself in order to have the life that I want. Not people who do things by half measures particularly well. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting. There's a lot of talk about that in the sort of EDU community, particularly. I think
Derek just made a video.
Derek just made a video about it, and
very good.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we drive cars because they're useful, even though they're dangerous, and that's how I feel about the social internet right now. Like, we need seatbelts. We don't need to stop driving.
Yeah, I guess I guess my concern is that there is no government entity like the one that required cars to install seatbelts, and instead of 30,000, yeah, and the other thing is that it's not like all car owners are equal. The way that they ostensibly are on the road. Me, I'm not only a car owner, I am also a car salesperson and a walking advertisement for why everyone should have a car. And so I feel like I do have a different set of responsibilities.
I agree, and I think that we should also be in charge of building seatbelts.
I don't think that users of social internet platforms should be in charge of building seatbelts. I think governments should. I mean, I just do not believe that private corporations will ever bow to the whims of their users.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think that social taboos can be enforced, but I do not think that they happen through intent. I think they happen through very weird mechanisms that is you cannot control. But I think that hopefully they will get created, and they will be a kind of anti-lock brake. But I don't know. I think that's gonna. I think by the time I'm dying, I'll be able to say, that's how it went, to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that I have never seen an example of corporations choosing to make less money because they're concerned about whether or not the thing that they make is good for the universe. I think the reason we saw cigarette sales decline was not because Philip Morris had a blinding light spiritual awakening.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
The reason that seatbelts were installed in Chryslers was not because, Bill Ford woke up one morning in a cold sweat, realizing that people were unnecessarily dying in his product. Like,
yeah, but I think that people, even if there was not a governmental agency, people would be like, oh, there is a safer car, and I want to drive the safer car.
no, but that didn't happen. Is my point. Like that is a beautiful idea, that libertarian idea that consumers are smart and will solve for these problems. They just never do. This is the whole problem with libertarianism is the same thing as the problem with Marxism. That like that's lovely, and like it all holds together very tightly as a worldview. It's just I don't see any empirical evidence for it in the world at all.
Yeah.
All right, it's 3:01. We have to go.
It's probably good note to end on.
Yeah. Big government in social media now. All right. Good to talk to you, Hank.
Okay, bye.
Bye.